We were able to do it ourselves, but it's going to be, I mean, just the grading, it's going to be very tight for a very long time. And that's okay. I mean, it's eventually it'll trickle back in. But
yeah. Top ramen, I'm on rice and beans.
Yes. Yeah. You're on Cocoa Krispies.
Cocoa Krispies.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Swagglecast, a video podcast series where I get to have elevated conversations with influential people in the comic book hobby. My guests today are Felipe and Jamie of FlipMode Comics, two of the best dealers in the country who recently came across one of the most amazing comic book collection finds of recent memory. Now known as the Bobby Blue Collection, this collection was filled with amazing Golden Age books, going back to the 30s and 40s, filled with Superman, Batman, pre-code horror, Captain America, Wonder Woman, all of the biggest keys and titles that you could imagine from that era. And now that collection is going up to auction at Comic Connect. I think if you're somebody out there who is a treasure hunter, a comic book dealer, or someone who enjoys digging in those back bins, looking for those hidden gems, you're really going to appreciate their story. Thank you guys in advance for watching. Of course, maybe grab some bags and boards, put us on in the background, like, comment, subscribe. And with that, I give you Felipe and Jamie's $1 million comic book collection find. All right, well, I'm with Felipe and Jamie from FlipMode Comics. Guys, thanks so much for hopping on the channel today.
Thanks for having us, Nick.
Absolutely. It's good to see you again.
It's been really fun following you guys on Instagram. I mean, not just from the claim sale side of it, but recently with this collection you guys have picked up, like all the pictures and videos you've been posting. I'm assuming that a lot of people who right away are going to watch this kind of know a little bit about the story and are interested to hear you guys talk about it. So let's kind of just jump right into it. You guys recently came across what I would say is probably one of the great collection finds kind of in our hobby. I think it's fair to at least put it in there. Can you guys talk a little bit about this find, how it happened, paint the picture, like take me through it. Like, let me just do story time and pull up a blanket and hear you guys talk about this.
Sure.
You want me to?
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
So basically, we ended up getting a lead, a gentleman, an older gentleman, he emailed us stating that he had spoken to a previous customer of ours, somebody that we had bought their collection in the past before. He spoke really highly of us, basically just saying that his experience with us and our offer that we gave, he was very satisfied. And so he recommended us to this gentleman. He was dealing with Mr. Bob Blue. He was power attorney. He has legally power attorney to basically
his estate.
To his estate, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he reached out to us via email. We were really excited. He sent us a list, and
before we got the list, even though we were recommended, this is the first time that we actually had to give references.
Correct. Yeah.
He wanted because they knew what they had. So references. They wanted business, personal, and industry references.
That is correct.
So there was a process to even just to be able to get in the door.
Yeah.
Even though we were recommended and he researched us, there was still this extensive process for us to even to even get the okay, you guys can come out.
And the funny part about it is that Jamie and I were like, all right, usually we roll into collections where we go and evaluate collections, right? And we roll in on our FlipMode shirts and stuff like that, and we go very casual. But we felt, like this was one of those exceptions where we kind of had to go all, professional. So Jamie and I, we were at Macy's like the day before, and we were buying out suit. Like we literally bought out like.
Well, the problem was, okay, I'm unfortunately I packed on the pounds the last couple of years, so I was fat guy in a little coat, and I'm just like, this is not gonna work. Well, do you have the big section, please?
Yeah.
So thank you that there was actually one jacket in the color that I wanted that actually fit.
So the lady saw you guys might have to go to the big and tall.
Yeah, she's like, her yard tape was barely big enough to go around me. So,
but we got all spiffy up, man, and because we felt that it was, this type of
The gentleman we're dealing with,
Yeah.
to give you a background on the gentleman we're dealing with,
The
he
third
was
party,
the person that handled the estate. He ran 15 bank branches as a regional manager. So everything was cross the T's, dot the I's, and the professionalism was outstanding. So we just felt that we needed to
be a little bit more professional.
Yes, than our fun, roll in with the T-shirt and stuff like that. Especially the quality of this collection. We wanted to bring the best A game we could.
Yeah.
We've already gone through all this process. Yeah. Let's just finish the process, and go that route.
Yeah.
So,
right.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. So okay. So he wants these checks and balances. You guys have to send references. What do comic book dealer references even look like? Is it like, your CGC friend or something like that, or
no,
people kind of in the industry?
So they wanted professional. So I have several. We both have several professional friends. One of my best friends, is a professor that has his master's degree.
College professor.
Yeah, college professor, master's degree. Felipe has a friend that's a district attorney.
Yeah.
And then as far as professional references go, I had my buddy Mike, the Big To Do. Follow him on Instagram. Shout out. He's gonna see this. It's Mike Hayden, down in Tustin, one of the best stores. He's been a very long-term friend of mine for a long time, and he was kind enough to give. His store's been around for 35 years, so we talked with him, and he was more than happy to help us out and give a reference. That
a little bitter, but.
Yeah. But he was like everybody being in the comic community is very, very tight niche. And so it's when you're dealing with people, it's just always good to have your best foot forward and stuff like that. So we had several references there as well. And I had a lot of people say you can use me and everything, and I appreciate everybody that I reached out, but I didn't need as many as I needed. And he called every single one, and it was a process for everybody to go through. So this wasn't just like, hey, what are these? It was, he had a list of you're dealing with someone that's been professionally in an industry that's, banking industry. And, this gentleman is, very rigid on his process.
Yeah.
The person handling to give you background as well, the person that was in charge of the estate is a family friend for 25 years. So this isn't just someone that is just a well-to-do to the family. This is someone that's close to the family and that is helping the family out as well.
Yeah, really close to Bob Blue as well.
Yes. Yes. They worked together for a number of years.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So you have so you get this. He likes you guys. He feels you guys are professional enough.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So
no, go ahead.
When we get there, Mr. Blue, the contingency on everything else to finally get us there is that we'll make an offer. If they like our offer, we'll discuss. If they don't, they understand that we can just. That's it. Like we're not there. It's not a guarantee we're buying it.
Yeah.
So he sat me down, Mr. Blue, and he goes, "Look, the part of the agreement was that if I'll let you look at my books. I might not sell today, but if we like what you have to hear, then we'll discuss further." So,
gotcha. All right. So you get
he already preemptively struck that accord, but that was part of our agreement. Was that this is not pressure, we the opportunity, we love to have the opportunity, and then we'll go from there.
Gotcha. So then take me through that. How much do you know? Like you said that there was a list, but like how much do you know exactly what's in it?
So he processed about half of the books. So he went through and started processing date, year, title. Once again,
issue number.
It was a very extensive list. The only thing that he did not do was page count. This gentleman was very doing his due diligence.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know.
But he did tell us that there was another half that he just hasn't gotten to yet.
Correct.
And that it wasn't processed yet. But you know, with what he had showed us on the list, that stuff that was already on the list, because Sensation 1 was on the list already.
And so was a bunch of westerns.
And so it was, and a bunch of westerns as well.
Yes.
But you know, like when we saw, you know, Sensation 1, we were just like, okay, it didn't matter. We were going no matter what.
Correct.
You know, and so we scheduled the appointment, and then and we went. But yeah, but you know, I remember Jamie and I, we were just so excited to know like what was on the other stuff that he hadn't processed yet, you know, because we're like, wow, you know, like who knows, Action 1, Bat 1 could have been in there, you know, we just had no idea.
On the list was the Batman 5
Yeah.
and the Superman 5.
Superman 5, and we're like, what if Superman number 1 is in?
Well, there was he let us know one box was completely coverless.
Yeah.
So that was a really fun box to go through and investigate 1939 to 1945 coverless books.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was Superman number 4, which is still great. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still Superman number 4, but I was just like, can I get a number 1? Is there a number 1 in here? You know? So plus come to find out that a couple of the early caps did have the centerfolds missing. Yeah. So, but once again, we were going to grade them no matter what. Because
we were like little kids, like knowing we were going to Disneyland the next day, because literally
we couldn't sleep. We
couldn't sleep. Like we couldn't sleep because we knew we had that flight early in the morning.
Yes.
But we were like thinking about like, man, what if? Well,
it didn't matter because I mean, come on. I mean, the Captain Americas were on the list. The Sensation was on the list. A couple early Batmans were on the list, and a couple Supermans were on the list. Yeah. And then the rest was Tim Holt and Lone Ranger and
no pre-code stuff was on the list.
No, none of that was on the list.
So like all the pre-code stuff, we were totally blindsided on that stuff.
And so I imagine like, you know, I don't have like a total professional history in buying collections and stuff, but what I kind of understand is, you know, you kind of go in there, you spend maybe 20 minutes kind of quickly looking through, inspecting some of the keys and stuff, and then you sort of make your offer. Is this must be a completely different experience.
All right. So understand that this gentleman's been in the community for 80 plus years in this town. Everybody knows Mr. Blue.
Yeah.
It was when we show up, there was 20 people from the town to make sure the California guys coming out were not gonna, you know, take advantage of Mr. Blue.
Word got out that to California.
Yeah, so it was a lot of pressure on top. Hey, how you doing? I don't know. We're second cousins, and I mean, it was like no problem. So it was first a preliminary before we even got to look at the books. Who are these guys? Introduce yourselves and stuff like that. So that was a fun experience to meet the community. And Mr. Blue was very nice. He's like, we even did all our yard work to make it all sprucey for you guys coming in. So it was a good time.
But it wasn't 20 minutes, Nick. It was I mean, we had scheduled a 3-day evaluation process there because we didn't know how extensive this was going to be. But you know, as we were going through it, you know, we had just gone through so many books of the same issues in previous collections that we bought in the past. And so we kind of had like an idea in regards to value and stuff. So that kind of helped us speed up the process as well. So, but we were literally there the whole day. I believe we got there from like, we went 9 a.m.
Yeah.
We didn't leave till like 7 p.m.
Correct.
Yeah.
They were very nice. We actually we stopped, took a break, went to lunch. And then with the executor. The other thing is that I brought, because I asked him, is anything in bags and boards? He's all, no, nothing's in bags and boards. So I said, look, whether we buy it or not, we'd like to at least try to get a little bit more protection. It was too expensive for me to bring on the plane 2,000, 3,000 Golden Age boards. So I brought 2,500 bags. So I was at least able, I says, look, if it's okay with you, and look, this is really awesome stuff. And I don't want, whether we buy it, I just wanted to give the respect. it's no big deal. Don't worry about the cost of the bags. I just want to put them in bags, So it just we sat there, and as we processed every box, we have to see what everything's in there. We were bagging as many of the books as we could for him, just to give a little bit more preservation to what was there.
Yeah.
And so as you're going through and you're kind of like looking at some of the books and stuff, like, I mean, how tight are your pants at this point? As you're just sort of flipping through all of these books, like,
okay.
Or is it like, because this is obviously work. So it's like cap 5, cap 4, whatever. And you're just sort of going through it and looking, or is this like, holy
the table started raining, dude, and it wasn't Jamie.
I'm just all right. So, that I tease Felipe big time. So, like, the way it was set up is if we were there at the table, because we actually went to Walmart, bought a brand new table. We had no idea what their setup was. We bought chairs. We did the whole 9 yards. Like, we're coming in, you don't have to worry about anything. Just bring the boxes. So I set the boxes on my left, and I filtered to Felipe the books. So I get to look first, and I'm like, look what I'm looking at.
And I was like getting mad.
He was getting so mad.
Because I was like, dude, I want to be surprised. I was like, damn it. And so
I was like, all right, I've already looked at this. You can look now. So I will say it was surreal when you pick up a Sensation 1 out of a box.
Yeah.
We put AF-15, X-Men 1, Spider-Man 1. It's still exciting to pick up one of those books from an original collector and be like, wow. But when you get back to the 40s, it's just an era. It's just the art, the content is just so time period, the history. So just holding that book, I mean, and you just get that wow. Even today, I just thinking like, wow, just remembering that sensation is a sensation. Yeah. That I'm like, hey, Felipe, check this out. Yeah. Can you put it in the bag like right away?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was.
And then that Journey 1, that double cover that came back.
We had no idea.
We had no idea. We didn't find out till we actually sent it in.
Yeah. Rocket Comics. Scott, my buddy Scott from Rocket.
Well, I imagine even if you do spend 3 days, 12 hours, you're not going to, a lot of these things you're still not going to spot,
Oh yeah, no. We even told him, I says, look, we have an idea of what we'd like to offer on the collection after we were done and seeing everything, because in those extra boxes, there was a Disney box, and it was like Walt Disney's goes down to number like 5. So, and it was cartoons and Westerns. So there was multiple boxes of Westerns and cartoons, and we've dealt with lots of that type of stuff from that era. Unfortunately, the fervor of that stuff is just not there as far as when it comes to superhero and pre-code horror. But it was fun to go through and see, like, anything pre-superhero journey or Tales of Suspense or any Strange Tales. Those are already rare, but to see like number 1 and number 2, number 3, number 4, that was pretty exciting. So
yeah.
So okay, you guys, you go through, you do all the due diligence, you look through, maybe you came in with a number in your head and then you went through and you thought about the number. I mean, what do you guys do then? Do you go back to your hotel and you guys like powwow for a little bit, or you guys like huddle up? You say like, should we do this? Should we do, like, what's this process?
We do huddle up, for sure. Before we make offers, and it's just something Jamie and I, we usually always do, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's a partnership.
So we had a number from what we saw. I've already did an idea of. So I go through extensive where I will look up what especially from this era, you don't know the grade. So I did everything from the whole list in a 1.5, a 3.0, a 5.0. And then after that point, you do like a 7.0 list. Anything above that, then, we've got to reorg everything.
Yeah.
So we come back out. It says, we talk through what we wanted to offer. To give you an idea as well, we had to leave. So because they wanted to talk it over.
Yeah.
So it was, you give us an offer and you clean up and you help us stack stuff back up, and we will call you, and you might not get a call, or we'll at least let you know the update. So we talked it over. We brought the family out, and we talked to the executor and his daughter, and we says, look, this is what we'd like to offer on the collection. And they said, okay, that's we'll go ahead and we're going to discuss it with Mr. Blue. And then I says, okay, no problem. And we cleaned up our stuff, and we said, if you have any questions, and we took off, and we were just like,
please call us.
Yeah, we're like,
please call us.
Oh yeah, because it's kind of a blind bid on what they had in their head.
Yeah.
And so from there, we got back to the hotel, and about 4 hours later.
Yeah. But what's crazy is that prior to him reaching out to us, he actually did take some of the books to a comic book shop. I guess like a local comic book shop, and that shop offered them $2,000 for the collection.
No.
Oh my
he brought
God.
the Captain Americas in.
Oh, he brought the caps. But I mean,
43 caps, and they said $2,000.
$2,000, yeah.
And he's like, okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he walked out.
Yeah. And then that's when
thankfully
got an email.
Yeah. The local store says, look, we don't have the capital to do this.
Yeah.
That's what they told me. This is all we have that we're, because it's a, this is several hours outside Indianapolis, so this is not a large store to deal with in the first place. So they don't have the resources to buy something of that nature.
Right. So 4 hours later, did you know that you were going to get a call that same day, or did you figure you might go back to California and who knows?
Yes. Oh, well, yeah.
He had told us you guys might have to come back if we decide to sell.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were like, damn it, and so we were just like, please, we were
praying, super excited. I mean, but it's just like, okay, it's like, look what we have. Okay, we'll see you later. Type situation.
Yeah. So we ended up going back to our hotel, and we had booked it for 3 days because initially that's what we estimated our process was going to be for about 3 days. But once we got back and we're like, please. I mean, Jamie and I, we were both praying, man. And then sure enough, within like 30 minutes.
It was like 4 hours.
About 4 hours?
Yeah, we sat there and watched shows.
That's right, yeah. And so he ended up calling us later that day, and then it's just like
we'd like to accept your offer.
We'd accept an offer, yeah. But what's crazy, Nick, is that we weren't really gonna, if we were gonna walk away with that collection, there was just no way we were gonna ship, because usually when we do buy collections, when we travel out of state, what we do is, we ship the books back, and then, we hop on a plane, and we just fly back with, whatever books we feel are probably the most valuable ones, right? With our baggage and stuff, with our luggage. But this one, it was just like, there's no way I'm going to ship out anything, because it was just, we didn't want to take the gamble and the risk of, it getting lost in transit and stuff like that. So we actually, ever since our South Dakota trip, we went through like this crazy snowstorm in Wyoming in this Dodge Caravan.
No, it's
Dodge. In this minivan.
Yeah. It's a Dodge. It's a Chrysler.
It's a Chrysler, yeah, minivan. And so ever since then, every time
that's our good luck
ever
car.
Since we travel, we make sure we book a freaking Dodge, a Dodge Chrysler minivan.
Yeah, that's our luck charm.
Yeah. And so but after we got that call it's like, okay, we accept your offer. We got in and we loaded the stuff, and we're like, I told Jamie, screw this, let's start driving back home now.
Well, because the thing is remember, we had the show on Sunday.
Correct. That comic,
and this was
show.
Thursday, and I'm like, we got to get back because we have the 626 con that we scheduled.
And then while we were there, we get hit with another lead. like literally not too far away, but we're like, screw that. Like we couldn't make it. So, cause we needed to get back home.
Yeah, we didn't have enough time to load up all those boxes
Yeah.
for the 626 show. So, and then we hit a storm in Kansas.
Oh yeah, man, it was crazy.
We hit a hurricane.
No, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, sorry.
Yeah, we hit like freaking hurricane or tornado
Yeah,
or something.
the
It was
rain
crazy.
was sideways.
Oh my God.
But the Chrysler minivan
got us
got us
through,
through
dude.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to ask. Well, I have to ask because I am interested in like, okay, once you acquire this collection, you're driving back across country in theory or wherever you're coming from, at least hours of driving. Like, I mean, what's the situation like here? I mean, are you guys like Frank Castle, you know, just watching each other's backs? Like we got to get from A to B.
We did.
Hold on, let me yeah, but let me to give you guys a little bit of understanding of Jamie. This guy is super paranoid, man.
I'm just protective. Like I just, so but no one can leave the van.
Yeah, nobody.
When we go to the gas station, it was you hold it until the other guy gets back. So
exactly.
It was like Brink's truck. Like
like no bathrooms. Just here's a cup. Like
no. We stop get gas, but no one leaves the van empty. Like it is like we sit there.
Like we
swap.
Take turns. Swap.
We do the fire drill with the minivan. But that's where we brought up that series that we started doing. What's in the box? What's in the box series. So
and the goal must have just been you guys were just going straight back to California.
Yeah, we drove.
You're not even bothering sleeping in a motel or anything.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was 32 hours straight. We drove. We didn't stop.
Yeah.
So
and Jamie couldn't sleep because he doesn't like the way I drive, and plus we were driving. It was like my turn, and we're driving through a freaking tornado in Oklahoma, and he was like all scared.
Yeah, you get brake checked every 5 minutes. There's no one else in the middle of freaking Kansas, Oklahoma. There's 0 people on the road, and he's tapping the brake. Why? Who does that? So then it turned into a brake check war all the way home. Literally, he'd like try to fall asleep, think, swerve a little bit, I'm like, dude, keep it straight, be courteous to the other person after 14 hours on the road. It was hard to sleep too because we're like, grab a box. I'm like, just leave it, like we'll get to it. That's why we're like, let's stop and just open up a box and peek in. That's why I just like grab a box. What's in the box? I don't know. So
yeah. So the stressful drive on the way back, but you guys did in fact make it. But let me rewind a little bit because I'm just curious. Sure. I've had some moments in my life, in work and stuff where I've gotten a call and it's been good news, and I hang up the call and then I gotta like jump on the couch or I gotta do dance. Like you gotta tell me.
All right.
He goes, all right, guys, let's do it. All right. And congrats and bye. And then he hangs up and now paint the picture.
Do you remember the Toyota commercial?
The what?
Like Toyota, and they jump up in the air.
I love what you do.
Yeah, I love you. Yeah, Toyota. Yeah, that was literally like us. Like we literally we jumped up and down. We were extremely excited. Like 2 kids going to Disneyland for the first time. Yeah. It was and we're getting churros and we're getting fast passes and we get to go with fast pass parking. So it was just the whole 9 yards. The whole day was, and then the whole park was empty. So it's just us in the park. So, it was, I think it was a surreal moment. It was yeah, that's the best way to put it.
It was one of those moments where it's just like, wow, like I can't believe this is happening to us type moment. Because it was, just it's not very common that people find these type of collections. I mean, there's dealers out there that are in the industry for years and they never find this stuff, and we're just very fortunate, just for us to be able to find something like this, and especially like an original collector and owner, that literally, quote unquote, Vince from Comic Connect calls it a virgin collection, so.
Right. And like you're saying, I mean,
from this era, yeah.
Right. And I want to transition a little bit. I have more questions about the collection and everything, but just talking about you guys, when you guys started FlipMode, 1, how did you start FlipMode? And then 2, I feel like this was what it was all about, right? I mean, I feel like when you start your business, this moment is like, well, this would be one of the most ideal scenarios to get to, right?
Yeah. So Felipe and I have known each other for 15 years. I mean, remember, small community, and Felipe started FlipMode, was one of the first sellers on Instagram early on, and he had another partner at the time, and so he was already doing that, and I started Blue Sky Comics, and I was doing cons and stuff on my own. And so one day, there's a local in Southern California. There's a weekly Comic Con called Frankenstein's. If you look that up, or if you're in Southern California, it's pretty cool. It's every 3 days a week there's booths that have comics, and everything you think at a con would be there. And so we were both there one day, and we were talking. And at this time, he was in school and stuff, and finishing up school, so he wasn't really doing much comic stuff. And we had lunch right outside at the
Frankenstein's.
Benihana's, right?
Benihana's.
Yeah, and said, hey, and we were in Frank's, and we were making people laugh, and they're like, you guys are great together. And so we walked outside, and we talked about it, and he says, let's take a look at I'm doing this, and he's like, I want to get back in the game, and so we went forth, and he had a collection that he wanted some help with, and from there we started doing weekly shows, and we where we're at today. So
Yeah.
Right. And you guys are like now a happily married couple on separate.
Yeah, just on the third hour we just start bickering. That's always the third hour streaming is where we get to where we start the married couple, like the show.
The wives get so jealous.
Oh.
Yeah, they think it's like parties. Like when we travel to the collection stuff, they're like, "You guys are traveling while we're grinding at work," and I'm like,
it's not our
"Are
fault.
you kidding me? They just spent 24 hours of plane travel in 3 days. Like, you think that's just like, woo, we're going to Hawaii or something?"
It's not our fault. We're at the hotel poolside and shit. Like,
I don't know about poolside. There she blows, harpoon ready.
Yeah, I just imagine like after you get the collection, that's when like hotel bathrobes come on with the cigars and laying out.
No, we're pedal to the metal, gas station to gas station, getting home. Like, we don't, because a lot of people like, my wife's like, just stay an extra day or two. I'm like, every day costs us more. Like, travel is not, especially today. If it was like 5 years ago, the cost between today, plane tickets, hotel, rent a car, it is, I mean, just like everything else, the inflation has hit those travel industries so much. So, and he always laughs because I'm super tight and budgety. So like, we're coached. So it's like, there's the bathroom, and behind the bathroom is where we sit if we can get tickets. So like, we're frugal when it comes to that type of stuff, as far as maintaining, and that's why we try to give the best deals, is we do our best to keep our costs as low as possible,
For sure.
and then pass that on to the consumer.
For sure, yeah.
So,
Right. Going back to the collection, I did just kind of want to ask, because I have this going somewhere, but would you say that this collection has now provided more stress or fun to you guys? Equal amount?
I'll tell you why. So the cool part was, and unfortunately Felipe wasn't able to join me, but I flew the first batch over, and I met with Matt Nelson, the head grader CEO of CGC, to drop the books off and check the books in. And Vincent helped us facilitate all that drop off and stuff like that, and set up everything. And that was fun. So if you're worried about your books at CGC, let me tell you, it is a compound. Like, if anybody has ever experience, you can't even get close to that building. It's key cards and cameras, and good Lord, it's Fort Knox. You were at the back in Indiana.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you were back in Indiana. That lead.
Other collection.
Yeah. So that was fun. But overall, that was stressful, just traveling with those type of books and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but overall, now that the flow is how things are set up as far as getting things over, it's pretty straightforward at this point. It's a
smooth process.
Yeah,
it's pretty smooth.
Vincent's done a very good job of the help facilitating the flow of work and stuff like that. Very professional.
Right. Yeah, I spoke to Vince the other week talking about just that whole process, and you guys came up and stuff. So it would be kind of exciting to see when all this stuff kind of hits market and everything, and what happens.
Start this month, I believe. Some of these books are going to start.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go on Comic Connect and just type in Bobby Blue,
which is
you'll
really
be able to
cool,
start. You'll be able to pull up all the books.
Yeah.
So far, that's up there.
Well, let me ask that, because I did notice, you take it to CGC and on the label it does say the Bobby Blue collection, and I think some people have been sort of wondering how come this is not a Pedigree collection. Can you guys talk a little bit about that, and was that part of the discussion at CGC?
Sure, absolutely. So we got to give credit to Vince at Comic Connect, because he did help us facilitate that with CGC in order to get the name of the collection. Because Jamie, we both kind of came up with the whole Bobby Blue collection, right? At first we were thinking Bob the Banker because he worked at the bank, but then
it just sounds cooler. I mean, he has a baller name, Bobby Blue. Like,
Bobby Blue.
I mean, that's like, come on, like even today,
the alliteration is kind of like a superhero name.
Yeah.
But
grades. Matt. The simple part is I actually asked, and and he's all, unfortunately, even though it's an original owner, he's all the grades just aren't there. A significant amount of books just don't hit the grade point to hit the black label. But Matt's like, we will be happy to put the name of the books on the label for Bobby Blue collection. And I said, at least we can do that. So that's kind of neat to be able to bring that to the
this is its originality. I mean, the fact that the collection was like a virgin collection.
Sure.
So right.
Yeah, that was real cool.
So you got the Bobby Blue collection. You guys are posting what's in the box videos. and I got to appropriate one of your sayings on your shows, where all of a sudden, guys like Swagglecast sliding in those DMs, whispering sweet nothings into, your Captain America Comics ears. Everyone's just excited. Everyone's really excited about the books and stuff. Like, but what is this sort of, I guess, social media thing been like, and just in the community, like everyone's messaging you, want to just hear stories and
so we call it, all of a sudden we got a bunch of second cousins that out of nowhere, like, hey buddy, how's it going? What's and it's always that, like, anytime you buy, it doesn't matter if it's this collection or other collection, if there's some, because our philosophy is when we get something, this is the exception to the rule, but most of the time when we get a collection, we'll show everything. We'll sell it. It's what we show is what we sell on the show. This is a little bit different because of the setup, but most of the time everybody knows. We have a lot of people that will do a video like, this is all going to be on the show, and they'll try to get in earlier. Like, can we get that book? And I says, look, our philosophy is we give the community a chance. Everybody gets a chance, and that's what we do. Some special things like dice rolls and stuff, so that way it's just not the first person every time.
The fact that these books are just, some of these books are just,
they haven't sold in years.
But not just that, but like when it comes to Golden Age and the fact that a lot of these books are missing wraps and stuff like that. So we didn't want to go and have to deal with having a customer that spent X amount of dollars, and then they're coming back and say, hey,
it's a 0.5 lower,
or
it's a point higher.
Yeah.
But also remember, and this, I always tell people this: today's price, yesterday's price, not today's price. And dealers used to say this a lot. 2 years ago, when the market was there, it wasn't even a fuego; it was lava hot. And now things have cooled, and once again, yesterday's price is not today's price. Right. So stuff has gone up and settled as well. So it just
Jamie wants to have some of these books himself. I wouldn't mind having some of these books myself, but him and I came to an agreement when we first came and we started the partnership, because it's just if we want something for ourselves out of what we find out there, we literally got to pay, we got to bid on it ourselves.
Correct.
At the auction, so, and it's just, we only do that
fair.
for fairness, for sure, because it's not fair. I wouldn't want to take any food off his plate,
but I'll take food off his plate.
He's definitely freaking willing to take food off my plate.
No, it's just like, for instance, like if I really would like to buy the Chills 19. That's my favorite pre-code horror cover, period. Misfits, the whole. That book to me has always been a keeper. The problem is that this agreement. We don't know what the market. I could get it for a great price, or I can get it or I pay for what the market is.
Yeah.
So it's just a way for us just to guarantee that there's no fighting. It just keeps it very neutral at that point. Like you want it, buy it, type of situation. So
yeah, especially when you're kind of in that side of the collectible, where it's like, I mean, I'm sure for the purity of it, you guys have that worked out. But if you wanted to buy a Hulk 181 off of your own self, you probably wouldn't sweat that as much as like a chain.
There's a track. If in the last year there's 1,000 sales, that's fine.
That's easy.
Or if we're like at shows, we'll check with each other. Hey, I'd like to buy this book. Do you care? No, okay, buy it. Okay. Even when we purchase stuff, even at shows and stuff.
What was the book that? I mean, there's a ton of books that there's just no recent sales, like maybe that annual or something that string.
Well, no, not even that. I mean, that's fine. No, I'm just talking about like when we're at like Comic Cons and stuff, and they're like, hey, like when you bought your Punisher or whatever, hey, what do you want to do? Any purchase or selling, we always check with each other. It just keeps communication open and very clean, and especially dealing with collectibles or of anything of value, you just want to make sure that you stay within the parameters of what you set up.
Yeah.
And it's worked out beautifully. There's been no fighting, no bickering. Like it's just been, as we are, just it just makes it nice and easy. So
yeah, that's actually good advice for anyone outside comics in working partnership.
Yeah, it forces us to be sneaky.
Yeah, no, yeah, sure. Yeah,
this is where you have like, why does Felipe have a burner phone all of a sudden?
Yeah. Let me process this box. You haven't seen it yet.
So I guess, is this part of the reason too, where you guys do a live show, you do a live sale. I think a lot of people have been inquiring about like, are some of these books going to go up? And then you're also going to work with Vince and Comic Connect to list some of these things. It just kind of a determination with you guys? Like some of these books are just too high figure, or some of them are too rare. We don't know how to price it, so we got to just put it at auction. Is that the thought process?
So there's like with our agreement with CGC is that until we get through grading what we want to grade, and allowing us to get the title of the collection on the grade, that we don't sell any of the books until we're done grading. And I said, that's fine. So most likely we will sell raw books as a collection. I'll probably end up making certs for them. I'd like to make certs for them just because it's special, just to have a cert. I know he just like, so that'd be kind of neat for the books themselves. But as far as the grades go, we have an exclusive deal for a limited amount of time with Vince, and so we're going to utilize that time to grade, and especially because we get a label. I mean, how often do you actually get to send something in and you actually get something on the label?
We're actually considering grading every single book.
We're not grading every single.
Maybe.
Yeah. No.
Just for the fact that we're getting labels on this stuff, but I don't know. There's some stuff that isn't really worth it.
Yeah.
So it's
but there's stuff that I still want to bring some of this stuff to the show. Sure. Like there's still pre-code horror we're going to bring to the show. Disney, Carl Barks books we're bringing to the show. Early Walt Disney comics and stories. Even the westerns. We'll do sets of the westerns for someone that wants Lone Ranger 1946 number 1 through 10. For a good deal, us, like it's fine, so it's just, but we want to do our due diligence on this. And, we pulled out, and like you said, some of these books have not sold in a couple of years, or we don't know. It's been 8 months and, what is the market today? We don't know. So it just, it's not, it's hard for us. It is very hard for us to try to price some of this stuff out.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is, to be honest with you. Then that's what we always say, like, let's just let the market dictate what it goes for, because then that way, we set it, and it is what it is, because it not only is it going to help us, if we ever find that same book once again, but it'll help other dealers, to kind of have a threshold on what it is, as far as what
today's price is.
Yeah, what today's price is, for sure.
Right. Well, I definitely, during some of this podcast, hopefully I can edit in some images and stuff, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask for you guys to show some books, if you happen to have it.
We'll just slide the whole box over, and this is going, these are some of the,
especially
next batch of.
If there's anything interesting or interesting stories about some of this stuff.
No, I mean it's a lot of this stuff is just they're just classic covers. You got Captain Science. I think there's number 1. Hold on a second. Apologies, I didn't have this really set out here. So this is a 1 and 2 Captain Science, 1950. Forgive me, I think it's 51 or 52. Number 1 and 2. Classic covers, girl, anything with girl. I mean, just beautiful cover. Kind of looks like the Death of Superman. I mean, Death of Supergirl. Very famous pose across the ages, I guess. We have here's a PEP 35, World War II. Some more pre-code. Let's see if we can get this up there so you guys can see the eerie, strange. I think this is Spellbound 2 or 3. Real famous monster cover. That's cool. The
number 7.
Yeah, here's
World's Finest.
Yeah, here's World's Finest, number 7, classic World War II cover.
Yeah.
Weird. Oh, this one's cool.
Yeah.
Weird Mysteries. I think this is number 1. I can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry, I'm in the modern era right now, processing stuff. I love that cover.
And what would you say? Like these look like? I mean, they present pretty nicely. Are these ones when in okay shape? At least
I would like 5s. I mean, the thing is like I know on camera they look so much better, but you can see a little bit of but solid shape. They're just they're red. I mean, he read every single one. And what's interesting is, and I asked him, I says, look, it looks like because his collection's 1941 mostly to 1954. And the reason it's 54 is because he bought like 1 or 2 of the code books.
Very few.
What is it called? Comic code books. Sorry. And he didn't like them at all. He said the comic code, it was just, I'm done. Like, it's not as exciting. Because it was funny to see him go from early age cartoons to his early 10 to 12, the superhero stuff to around 14, and then he switched into the horror stuff in a teenager and late teenage years is what he did. So that's his time frame. But really, this one's pretty nice. This is probably going to be like a 7.5, Walt Disney,
wow,
story.
So awesome.
And then we got some early Young Allies. His Young Allies was missing, I think, 1 issue out of the entire run. Number 17 or something like that.
So Nick, it's crazy because I was telling Jamie while we were there and we were doing the whole evaluation because I don't think in our comic book dealing career, that we've actually ran into an original collection where we actually spoke to the person that wrote his name on the books, right?
Yeah, no, his mom.
No, I get it.
You mean okay.
So and so I had told Jamie, man, this is so cool because we get to actually speak to the person whose name is on the book because we run into collections, right? Where
Bobby Blue.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I was looking for one. So we run into collections where you see a lot of writings on covers,
but that person is no longer with us.
But who knows how long ago that name was written on, and then if that person even still alive, right? So I asked him, hey, Mr. Blue, I was like, hey, what made you write your name on the books, right? And I figure, usually I guess back then kids would kind of personalize their stuff because they would trade and stuff like that. So it's like, this is my book, they want to personalize their book. But he was like, hey, I didn't write my name on there. I was like, what? And he's all like, that's my mom's writing. So I was like, no way. He's like, yeah, she wrote my name on a lot of my books when I was a kid, just because she wanted, those were my books. So she actually wrote my name for me. And so he was getting really sentimental as we were going through the collection because he was seeing his mom's name.
And he was having second thoughts.
Yeah. So we almost didn't get the collection.
Because he literally at the time was like,
I
don't think I can sell this right now.
He's all
we've run that before where people have a hard time letting go, and we understand.
Because he was literally seeing his mom's writing
all over emotional.
And he was getting emotional, yeah. And so we almost didn't get the collection because it was like he was having second thoughts because he was seeing his mom's.
Yeah, here's his earliest detective,
Yeah.
47 that he had, and you can see Bobby Blue on there and stuff like
It's
that.
his mom.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, we just were like it was just so interesting to know that history, you know, and it was just so cool to listen to.
That is really cool. And actually, I think that's one of the cool things about the fact that even it'll say Bobby Blue on the label, or like even, you know, I've watched your guys' other shows where you had the one where it's like had the bunch of Avengers annual 10s in it, and you guys have done a good job sort of just talking about the person that you got it from and why it was a little bit special. And I think there's something like important about that for both someone who's letting it go, knowing that the books are going to go to someone who kind of is inheriting not just a book, but also a story and a history behind it.
If you notice that a lot of the collections that we get, we put a name to it, right? Because we like to give provenance to the owner, you know, like
correct, or the family,
like, you know, the last collection, one of the really good collections that we got was the Lights, Camera, Action, right? Because the gentleman worked in Hollywood for so many years, passed away, and same situation where
Postman collection.
Yeah, the Postman collection, but you know, the family was handling the state, so we called it the Lights, Camera, Action. You know, we found the Marvel Spotlight came back at 9.2 and a bunch of other high grades.
First Hero, yeah, he bought everything.
First Hero for Hire came back at 9.6 and stuff like that. So it was like everything was brand new and stuff. And so we gave that, you know, we usually name the collections, you know, like the Old Man Collection or
the philosophy behind.
Thank you, Bruce. You know?
Yeah, the philosophy behind that is that when you get a book from us and you go back in your box and you're like, oh, this is from that person's collection, or man, this was amazing, or you know, it's just like I said, it's a lineage thing where we're all passionate about the books, but rarely do we get when you go to a con, where did that book come from? How long? You know, we have no idea, but when we're able to offer some lineage and history to the books, it just adds that little bit more value and you know, gives that collector the idea of like, oh man, this is from so and so, or you know, and it helps pass on that the original owner's fervor and passion to the next person that's passionate about the books as well. Yeah. So it creates that narrative, which is really important to us. Yeah. You know,
it's what I always think about, where it's like every book kind of has like a spirit, and it's like
100%. And so we like to when we buy collections, we like to make sure, and you know, they're welcome to watch the show as we talk about, and we'll ask about, you know, is it okay if, you know, we try to keep the families private. A lot of families are, you know, they you know, it's especially nowadays as far as you know, invasion of privacy and stuff like that. But we were like, is it okay if we give a little bit of history, you know, to your brother or you know, to your dad, or you know, or if they're still here, is it okay if we talk about you? You know, we'll go over what we'll talk about and, you know, clarify so that they're comfortable with what we're about to say. You know, and most of them are excited to know that we share that passion and to share that history. You know, because look at I mean, today to be a nerd is cool. I mean, honest, like, you know, when I was in school, like nerd, freaking super nerd. Yeah. Well, so like, for me, like it was a big deal to you know, back when these people are collecting, you know, the connotation nerd was very demeaning, you know. And so, you know, how the times have changed, where, you know, this is mainstream, and you know, we got big blockbuster movies and TV shows and a whole genre and Comic Cons, and there was nothing like that for these type of books. I mean, think of it. This is a person, you know, it was they loved the genre and they kept this stuff, and it's important to pass that passion on and that collector spirit.
Yeah. Let me switch gears a little bit. While I have you guys, was curious to ask you about this. I have to appropriate another one of your sayings from your shows, where it cracks me up every single time when Felipe, you go, this shit has got to go.
Hold on, we're not a museum
because we will not be denied.
Yeah. We're not a museum. It's got to go.
Right. And I think so. I want to unpack it a little bit, because I feel like there's a good philosophy in it from like a comic dealer point of view, and I'd love to ask you about this. Like, you know, I get in my comics all the time. People complain like, dude, why does my LCS have 2021 price on it? Like, dude, why do I go to the comic shows at 2021 price on it? And I think, in fairness to you guys, I think you guys do a great job in just being like, here's a good deal, guys. Like, take it, gotta go, out the door. And can you talk a little bit about that, just in terms of like how you guys run it? Because I think it's important to discuss.
Yeah, if you were to see our storage, like it's insane, right? I mean, and that's one thing that in the beginning, I told Jamie, hey, I don't want to get cluttered up and with this massive amount. I don't want to be that type of dealer.
Too late.
I know it's too late, literally.
So what? To give you a word, his fervor comes in is the fact that we'll buy a collection, we'll take the grade A and some of the Bs, and we'll sell through, and then we'll be able to get into what we paid for the collection itself, and then when we get to the next portion to do anything with that collection, a consignment comes in. We do consignment, so we'll have someone drop off their collection and we'll agree to sell their stuff, or we'll buy another collection and then we'll do the same thing. So then all of a sudden we just also we can't get back to previous collections and stuff like that. But our philosophy has always been is if we can work out a good deal on the collection where we can pass on that savings, to the consumer. It's good to feel that you made a good purchase and you feel like you got a good deal, whether it's today's price, yesterday's price, it doesn't matter to us. Whatever the price is, we'll check up to date on a lot of our stuff. And if it's selling for X amount, well, you can buy these books anywhere. If you really want this book, it's available. So what our philosophy is we got to be cheaper. We got to make sure that people feel like they're winning and, on their purchase. And that's kind of just how we do it. It's important to us that, it's long-term customer relations. We're not here to one and done.
Yeah, but you did say something that you're correct on. I mean, comic book stores are having these books up on the shelves or in glass cases for so long, and I don't understand that logic, right? I mean, you're there to make business, or you're there to sell, not to keep. So I mean, honestly, I think that's where Jamie and I kind of like we're really in sync when it comes to that type of mentality, because we don't want to hold on to any of this stuff, right? Because in the beginning, our agreement was like, we want to make this a business, and this has got to go. Like, everything's for sale. But if you want something for your personal collection, well, that's where our agreement comes in, right? We got to buy it at auction ourselves, But
it's money in, money. It literally is money in, money out.
That's exactly what it is. Money in, money out. We got to recover, and then then we pass on. But yeah, I mean, I just, I understand that a lot of these stores have a lot of overhead, employees and stuff like that, brick and mortars, rent, employee costs, payroll, and all kinds of other type of overhead, right? But, we keep, like Jamie mentioned earlier, we keep our overhead a lot low so that we can be able to pass that savings on to the consumer. That's why I say this shit's got to go, because it's money in, money out, but we get the collection for such good deals that we're able to pass that on to the collector, because ideally that's what we want, right? I mean, we're starting to see a lot of other dealers on Instagram, to be honest with you, kind of take that same philosophy where it's like, hey, make me an offer, everything's got to go, I to me, me personally, as far as running a business, I mean, we're here. This is what we're here for, right? We're here to just move this. I mean, I'm not here to put it on behind the wall. What I'm saying? This is why I tell Jamie, get that shit out of here. What I'm saying? Let's sell that stuff on the wall.
So let's talk about stores. There's a lot of good store owners out there, but remember, the amount of time and effort and energy it takes to reprice out daily would be astronomical. Think if you have a store and you have 10,000 books that are priced out in your store, or even 20,000 books in your store. Are you physically going to go through and reprice out everything? Now,
but
if you have a wall,
but a lot of people do.
No, there's no stores that will. I
They
know
reprice books all the time.
No
dude.
way. Are you kidding me? You
Based
have
on
bin
market?
books? Or no way. There's no way.
Bin books maybe not. But
No,
like other-
I'm talking their walls. Like it would be astronomical when they got new product coming in. You got new product coming in. They gotta put up in price. Like there's only and owners that they have a limited staff and amount of time to be able to do that. So it's extremely tough in a volatile market.
Oh, you're talking about when they price them beforehand, and it's like prices are just there still.
Yeah, that I'm saying it. So just you have to be. I mean, as far as finding prices from previous years or whatever, and you don't know what they paid for the collections. Like they might just have to wait until that book matures enough to where it's a good deal again. To sell. So. There's no negative connotations on a store owner.
No, I'm not saying, but based on our philosophy and selling philosophy, this is what
But I'm just giving the context for why
I'm
the
not knocking
owners
stores down. I'm not knocking them down. I'm just me personally, I don't get some of that. To me, it's like, make an offer on the book. I mean, literally, because I've ran into like dealers where it's like, hey man, this book is $100. I'll give you $90 for it. No, they want to hold on to it for $10.
But you don't know.
It's crazy.
You don't know what they paid, what the history is, where that came from. You don't know their investment. Now that's their philosophy, and that's what it is. Like some people, that's kind of the way they do it. So it's fine. You've seen us at shows. At the end of the last show, I was selling long boxes for $5.
Yeah, I remember that.
Legendary.
We
were like, hey, I was on the freaking microphone, and I was like, I'm not taking this shit home.
Yes.
Come and get it.
Yeah. We're walking out of here like with my latte, and that's it.
But again, go look at the storage, man. It's like, and I'm like, dude, that's why
we would smash through stuff. But we're probably able to get this stuff.
Yeah, we're starting to get through a lot of that stuff. So this is why you start seeing a lot of like affordable books on some of the show. Like for instance, today's show is going to be a lot of.
We're finishing up the Kansas City collection, and that'll let me get into finally the boxes of the Lights, Camera, Action, which is we've had a lot of people like begging us to get back to, and it's Bronze Age in possibly 9/8. Like it's crazy to see, and I'll sell those all raw. Like it's fine, because we do our best to grade the books as they are, not as they can be.
We also do a really good job of making it fun. A really fun interaction with the community. Like we play blackjack, we play games. Blow your load. Like all kinds of other stupid stuff that we play. But because. I mean, at the end of the day, like, we're like selling bundles for like $100 when there's like literally $300, $400, $500 of value in it.
But it's really fun.
But it's really fun, like
take the gamble.
Yeah, but
we're degenerates.
Well, no, there's definitely like this fun degenerate feeling in how you guys approach it. But it's all in a good sort of way.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like we've taken it on the keister, but it was fun.
I ain't taking nothing in the keister.
Remember we did a free or half off.
Okay, first of all, let me
that
be clear. He's taking it in the keister.
Yeah,
I'm not taking shit.
Sure.
Let me ask this because you, as you were talking about just the business, you reminded me. I wish I asked this when we were talking more about the Blue collection, but I have to imagine this is the most expensive collection that you guys have ever bought in the history of your business. Has this provided like a kind of like a stress level or a strain on you guys? Like, what are you guys feeling right now as far as?
I'm like in divorce court right now.
I'm sure you guys will do well, but I mean, like,
So for us, like, just for connotation, I actually had to make several calls, and Felipe and we reached out to several investors just in case that we had to go to that level, to make sure that we had adequate funds ready to go. We were able to do it ourselves, but it's going to be, just the grading, it's going to be very tight for a very long time, and that's okay. I mean, eventually it'll trickle back in. But
top ramen, I'm on rice and beans.
Yes. Yeah. You're on Cocoa Krispies.
Cocoa Krispies.
So, I need to be on top ramen for a while.
Yeah. But you know, cash poor, but book rich right now.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. The worst part is I don't even have those books with me, so it's just like when I did that video, I got choked up because to be able to hold those type of books in your hand and just and just realize the history and the care that person went through, to be like, wow, and then they're gone, you know, type situation. So
yeah,
but it's been a really fun experience.
Well, I think I've definitely taken up a lot of your guys' time, but you know, before we kind of wrap up, is there any other just kind of little tidbits or things that you would want to share about this collection? Any questions that I think that you know, the people have been sort of asking? Maybe now's a good time to get that out there.
Sure. So let's reintroduce. The Bobby Blue collection, all the major keys and most of the superhero golden age and pre-code horror will be up on Comic Connect. You'll be able to just type in Bobby Blue to see the books.
Starting July auction, I believe. Yeah. So just type in Bobby Blue on Comic Connect and it should all pop up.
And then as far as the rest of the golden age that we aren't grading, it'll probably be close to Christmas time, I'm assuming, that we'll be able to start bringing those books out. So we'll do a Bobby Blue Christmas special or something like that on once we've finished grading and we've done the due diligence with that part. So but there's going to be pre-code Disney 40 stuff.
Hell no! Get ready for a bunch of westerns.
Yeah, yeah, because he likes, you know, he likes those chaps. So.
Well, I guess you know, if people, you know, want to follow up and maybe get a chance to pick up some of these books, maybe you can let them know where they can find you and you know, give us a little spiel of what's next for you guys, or if you guys have shows or cons coming up.
So we'll be at San Diego Comic-Con.
Not as dealers.
No. We're just going to be hanging out. We'll go live, and the books are actually Vincent from Comic Connect is going to be there with his booth and showcase some of the books. So that'll be fun. We'll be down there for a couple days. As far as our shows goes, typically we do Sundays, every other Sunday sometimes. On Instagram at FlipMode _comics. You can catch us there. Keep your notifications on. We show stuff all the time. We're going to be going back through some of the collections. We got a lot of Silver Age, a lot of Bronze, just good stuff, like just solid stuff. And as you watch us, you'll see we're very, very, very competitive on our pricing. And we do bundles, and we do have some slabs. But our philosophy most of the time is we like to sell raw books. Just because people want to get and feel their books themselves. So that's kind of we do some slabs, but not a lot. So most of the stuff, 99% of the stuff we do is actual raw books. So.
Gotcha. Very cool. Well, Felipe, Jamie, thank you guys so much for coming on the show and telling us this story. Hopefully after, you know, you guys kind of find your feet again, you know, you can do the What's in the Box reality show season 2. We can go like full on, you know, with the full escapades of the show, because I think that would be something that people really enjoy watching.
That's cool.
Your wall's got pretty baller back there, sir.
Yeah.
Your wall keeps getting better and better every time I see it.
Yeah, I'm trying. You know, one book at a time. You know, there's no Sensation Comics #1 up there, but
you'll get there.
Maybe
one coming up you can buy.
Yeah, I'll tune into the Comic Connect auction and put a bid in when it's at $1.
Yeah, there you go. I'm winning right now.
At a certain point in my life, I was winning it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've done that at Heritage with Detective Comics. 27. I'm like, I'm winning. If no one bids, I win. $1,000.
Please,
please. You're calling up like, hey, you DOS this real fast to lock in this bid for me for a while. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, guys, thank you again so much for coming on the show, and best of luck with everything. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. So much. All right. Have a good one.